Hello and welcome to this video whereby we are going to look at how we can be able to deploy a full stack application. And by a full stack application, I mean a full stack that has a front end. You can see the front end in my screen here. Also, you can be able to see admin dashboard right here. And also, if we go to the code here, also you can see the parts that our application that have. So for example, you can see we have this part for the admin. Already have shown you in the screen how admin dashboard look like. We have our backend here, and also we have our background services right here. We have also our front end. So we have four parts that we need to deploy to our server so that everybody in the world can be able to access our application and use it. So here I have an example of application, a full stack application that I already deployed in my projects. So you can see using this application, you can be able to access it using this domain right here that I'm highlighting here. So also for this one, if you check here, you can see I'm actually running it in my localhost, and you can see that I cannot be able to give you an URL or a domain here and be able to access everywhere that you are in the world. So that's what I want to show you, because most people have been asking me how to deploy this full stack application, and I want to make a video that will help you to understand how to deploy this. And in today's video also, we are going to cover some topics like propagation, because propagation is very important, because you find that some companies like DigitalOcean here, actually you can come up to DigitalOcean, buy a server, but the DigitalOcean company doesn't do domain registration. So you need another company that you'll buy a domain, and then you'll do something that is called propagation. But don't worry, I'm going to cover all that so that you understand everything. So I'm going to start by explaining how to deploy this. So what we are going to do is that I'm going to open this whiteboard here, and I'm going to take this shape here. So I'm going to have this part here, and this part we are going to call a domain, that is, or this is a domain company, that is. So I'm just going to call it domain like that. And then I'm going to have another shape. So let me actually make sure that this shape is up here. I just want it to be up here. So actually it can just stay there. And then I'm going to have another shape here. And this shape here, we are going to have to call it the server. So I'm going to call this server like that. So what we are going to do is that we are going to point our domain from this company that does domain registration to our server that is in DigitalOcean. So here I'm going also to write the name of the company. So the name of the company that I have done domain registration is called TrueHost, and the company that I have bought digital or a server, a VPS, is called DigitalOcean. So I'm going to write here. Let me just come up here and write DigitalOcean. I don't know why this is not typing actually. I think I can just come up here, and I'm going to write down here. This is DigitalOcean, and there's a lot of companies that you can buy server from. Not only DigitalOcean, you can buy it from Hostinger. So also you can come to Hostinger, and this is a company that also you can buy VPS from. So you can come up here, you can see there are other like Bluehost, there are so many. So the Hostinger is right here. So when you click on Hostinger right here, you can be able to come to hosting, and you can see there's a dedicated resource to scale, and this is the server. You can do just simple web hosting. The simple web hosting is just when you want to just host a simple website. So, but I know most people know how to do that. But for VPS, or when you're actually deploying a full stack, you need a server right here. So you can see from 4.99 a month. This is also, you can be able to do that. So for this company that is called Hostinger, they do domain registration, and also they actually sell server. So for this one, you not need to do propagation. And now that introduces a topic that is called propagation. So what is propagation? So propagation is this process whereby you point the domain to the digital or the server right here, so that when the traffic come to this domain, it will be pointed to this DigitalOcean where you have hosted your code, or you have hosted your application. So this is called propagation here. So I'm going to write here propagation so that you understand. So if, for example, let's say we don't have if already we are using Hostinger here, and we are buying the domain and the VPS or the server from Hostinger, that means that we won't need this process here. So we won't need this process. So I'm going to cancel that. If that is, we have bought our we have done our domain registration in the Hostinger, and also we have done VPS, or we have bought a server from VPS. So I think now you understand that. So now when you have already deployed this, so you'll find that now anybody, so I'm just going to have another shape here, another person. This, I'm going to call this person person A. So this is person 1, and let me push this up here. So I'm going to have another person here, and this one I'm going to add another shape right here. I'm just representing so that you can understand. So this is another person. I'm going to call this person person 2, and actually what I want is to make sure that I indicate their location. So let's say for this person is in Asia, like that, and also for this person here we can also add the location. So for example, this person is in let's say Africa, like that. So we want to deploy this application so that all these people here, so I'm going to just use a capital letter. So here, for this person here, we are deploying so that these people can access this application all over the world. So this person here will just type domain in their browser, and they will be able to access this application, because this true host domain will propagate that to DigitalOcean server, and this DigitalOcean server here will be able now to serve with the code or the application, and then this application here will just be forwarded to this person, like that. Also the same for this person here. This person will type the domain name in their browser, and then the traffic will be directed to server where we have our code and our application, and then they will get the everything now, because we have done the propagation. So now I want us now to look at propagation, how it's being done, because if I do this and you don't get to see how propagation is being done, you might not understand. So here I have a company that have a domain. So I'm going to use just a domain, because this is just a tutorial to show you how to deploy. So this is the domain right here. So let me click on this. Let me log in again. I'm using TrueHost, but you can use many other like GoDaddy. We have Namecheap. There's so many companies also that you can do domain registration for. In my case, I just like to buy domain in one company and server in another company. So here we have this, like, I'm going to use this duboisbeauty.co.ke, and here you can see for this company, for this application here, this application here, you can see its domain here. You can see the domain here. So if I come to this part here, we can go to manage domain, and this is where you can be able to do propagation. And propagation is a very simple task. So it is loading right here. So if I come up here, and you need to come here to what is called name servers, and you can see here, or the domain server, you can see here I'm not using default name server here. I'm using custom name servers, and you can see these name servers here are from DigitalOcean. So that means that you are pointing this domain to DigitalOcean servers, and then from that point, now it will be directed to now the server, or our application, that is. So I want to also come up here and show you another website, and that I have not done propagation because I'm hosting that website in this TrueHost company here. So you can see this, we have this website here, and if we come to manage domain here, and let's open that. So if we open, it's taking some time. So if it opens, you'll be able to come up here to the name servers, and right here you can see I'm not using custom name server, I'm using default name servers. And these name servers here are for the TrueHost, name servers for TrueHost, because also it doesn't mean that TrueHost only do domain registration. Also they do hosting, but I don't want to host with the TrueHost. I just want to have a domain for TrueHost, but the server from DigitalOcean. So that is it. So yeah, let's go to now the domain that you are going to use. And actually, let me come up here to my domains. And also, I had already started the propagation, but I remembered that I need to also show you how to do the propagation. So this is the domain that you are going to use, so that when you type this domain here, we'll be able to access our our application once we deploy it. So I'm going to click on manage servers. So I'm going to come up here. Again, it's loading. And after it loads, we are going to come up here to name servers. And you can see here already I had autofilled these name servers. So let me copy this, and I just want to show you, if we were not doing the propagation, let's say we are hosting from this company that is called TrueHost here. There is no need for us to do the propagation, so we could just use default name servers. But because we are not hosting in this company, we need to do the propagation, and that's why we need to come here and say use custom name servers. And these name servers here, you need to look at these name servers here, and these name servers here for the DigitalOcean. So if it is Hostinger, you'll find that they have their own name servers. So you need to fill them here. If it's any other company like Bluehost, also you'll find that you need to also you'll find that it has their own their you'll find that they also have their own uh, name server. So that is what I wanted to show you. So that is propagation. So now the other thing that I want to show you is how to create a server so that we can be able to deploy. So maybe you might also be wondering where I get these name servers here, and you can search, for example, in the web here. You can search something like DigitalOcean name servers, like that. Actually, you can see here, you can see name servers for GoDaddy. So actually, you can see them here. So that's how I get name servers for a company. So if it was a Bluehost, you could see them here. So you can type here Bluehost and name servers, and you'll be able to find them. So you can see they are still, and you need to come up here and replace the name servers right here. So I think now you have understood. So for the DigitalOcean, then if you don't have account, make sure that you have the account, register and everything. And when you have already registered, login, you'll be welcomed by this dashboard here. For this dashboard here, you need to make sure that you have attached your card so that you can be able to create server. And in this application, or in the DigitalOcean, you find that they call their servers droplets. So if I click here on create, you can see droplet. But now you need to create project. So you can see you have the first project here, and then you have second project. So if you want to add another project, you come here and create. So you can have any project here holds that will hold a digital server, that is. So here I have clicked on create project here, and you can see here we have to write the name. So for example, here I'm just going to write e-commerce, for example. Another thing, I don't need to add description. And also for this one, I can select web application like that. And here I'm going to skip for now. And like that, you'll have a new project. So if you come here, you see that I have this e-commerce, and this is where I want to create this. I want to create my server. So I'm just going to, after I have highlighted or selected my project, I'll just come here to create, and I'm going to click on droplets, and this is where I'm going to create the server. So you can pay attention here. So here you can see we have a New York region. You need to select your region. Maybe if you are in India, you can just click on Bangalore. But in my case, I'm just going to leave it as New York here. And also if I come up here, I can just choose the OS. You can see here Ubuntu, we have Fedora, we have Debian, CentOS. I usually do or use Ubuntu and CentOS, but in this case, I'm going to go with the Ubuntu. Another thing is here you can choose what you want for general purpose, CPU optimized. Of course, you can see here it's calculating the price, but I'm going with the simplest and the cheapest option because this is just for uh, this is just for making sure that we deploy the application, not just a tutorial for showing you how to deploy a full stack application. So this one here is regular. You can see I'm going to select on regular here, and for the regular I'm going to go with the basic option here, and you can see here is as if this $4 here is highlighted, and you can see, I don't know why, but it should be I should be able to select that. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select this one here, this the cheapest in our case right now, because you can see here this $4 here is being or is disabled. So after that, now you can see here you need to understand or be able to know how you access your server. So in this case, you can see many of my keys that I have added for other project, but in this case, I want to use password right here. So I'm going to use the password, and here you can see they need you to type a very strong password. You can see it must be at least 8 characters, must contain one uppercase, and that uppercase cannot be first or last character, must contain one number, cannot end in a number or a special character. So I'm going to type my password that I'm not going to show you because I know this will be risky. So let me type my password. So that is my password. It has met all these requirements. And after that, I can click on create. But before that, also you can see if you want to create more than one server, you can see it is called droplet. You can add here to 2, 3. Of course, you can see here the cost also rises, but I just want one for demonstration. So create droplet. So that's how you create server. So you can see server is being created, and after some time you'll find that you can see here is still loading. Here we are being allocated resources, and it will take some time, and after that you find that we are going to have a fully fledged server, and after that now we can start configuring our server. So yeah, you can see our server is right here. It has already been created. It's very good. So here what we can do is we can copy this, our public IP address for our server, and then I'm going to paste it here like that. So you can see for now there's nothing that happens here because there's nothing that we have in this server. So now after some time you'll find that we are going to start the configuration. So here what I'm going to do is to try and access this server. So we are going to access it using SSH. So I'm going to open the terminal or command prompt here to be able to access. So to access using SSH, we are going to just write SSH and then root and then our IP address like that. So after that, you'll be able to be prompt with this, just type yes. And after that, now let us type our password. So we have the password that I have created. So let me try and type it. Okay, I hope I have not misspelled. Yeah, and you can see now we have our server right here. So for this server right here, we need to start configuration. So let's go to the configuration part of this server. So right now we are in a server right here, as you can see. So for this one, I'm going to have a documentation that you can follow to be able to configure this. So the first thing that we are going to do here is we are going to use this documentation, which I'm going to link in the description of my video. So for this one, you can see we have already covered connecting to the VPS. Already we have done that. Another thing also, you can see you can use PuTTY to SSH to your server. PuTTY is an application that can help you to actually SSH to a server. So another thing is now make sure that we stop any Apache web server. So we are going to copy this, and here we have our server. I'm going to paste this command. So this is to stop any web server. If Apache is running, then we need to disable it because we are going to use Nginx to be able to do configuration for our web server, or our web server will be Nginx. So we are also going to make sure that if it exists, also we disable it. So here let us disable it if it exists. And another thing is we can remove. So we are just making sure that we don't have Apache in our server. So actually you can see there is nothing, but we wanted to make sure that if exists, then we remove it, because you'll find that some servers, they actually add Apache by default into that server as web server. So if you don't know much about web server, don't worry, we are just going to also look at that. So here you can see auto remove. So auto remove any dependencies for Apache. So we are going to auto remove everything that is involved. You can see there is none. So now let us start by making sure that we update our server. So copy that, and we can copy here. Let's copy that command. It's upgrading. So also you can see it has not even, okay, actually I need to type here yes. So it will be able to update everything here. You can see it's updating. So now after that, after updating, we need to remove if we have any folder that is in this, if there's any a folder that is called var and ww and then html. Here we need to, actually if we have any folder that is called HTML here, we need to remove it, because in the var and then www.html, this is where most website in the servers are, the files are being, or they are stored. So that is it. You can see here you need to make sure that we click on OK, and then it will continue configuring that. And you can see here, after that, after we have removed this folder here, we need to install Nginx. So Nginx is also a very important service that will help us to do reverse proxy. And reverse proxy is that when, for example, the traffic here is sent from the domain and then comes to our server, this will help us to be able to know if this is the front end. If the domain comes to as duboisbeauty.co.ke, we'll be able to understand if the user is trying to go to the front end. If, for example, is something like admin.duboisbeauty.co.ke, we'll be able to understand that the user is trying to go to the admin dashboard. So here we need to add Nginx that we are going to install. So here we have, let me add here actually, Nginx. So in Nginx, so Nginx is used in many cases. In our case here, we are just going to use it as web server, and also we are going to use it as reverse proxy, like that. So I know now you are a bit confused, but you'll be able to understand once we complete the deployment. So after that, I was in this part here. So you can see everything has been done. So I'm going to clear. So you need to know a little bit of Linux to be able to just go through this, but it's not complicated. You can just follow every step with me. So after that, we need to remove every file that is here. So I'm just going to open this, and here I can remove any file if that file exists. And the other thing is that actually it's folder, not file, sorry. So now let us install Nginx. So here we have our Nginx is being installed. Yes, you can just say yes like that, so that it's being installed. Another thing that I want to install in this case is this apt install UFW. This is installing and also configuring firewall. And this is because you need to configure firewall so that you keep hackers away, because imagine if you don't have a firewall and maybe other ports in your server have been open, hackers can use those ports to be able to hack into your system, or they can try and manipulate those ports that are open without firewall, and they can try and access your server, and that is very risky to be hacked. So here you can see, it has completed installing it. So another thing is now to install UFW here. So like that, and here I can paste UFW. You can see it has been installed, and you need to enable it. So we are going to copy the command UFW enable. After that, you can say yes, and you can see here it's actually giving you warning. Command may disrupt existing SSH connection. Proceed with operation, but I'm just going to type yes. It's enabled, and then now you need to allow certain things in your firewall, because remember when we do UFW enable, we enable firewall for all ports. So we need to allow other ports to be able to be used. For example, we need to allow all the ports that Nginx is using. So I'm going to copy that and paste it here. So we have enabled that, and you can do also UF status like that. Yeah, you can see the Nginx full allow anywhere. So I need also to actually allow port 22 because this is the port for SSH, and if you don't add this port 22 here, you'll find that the next time you want to SSH into your server, it won't allow you, so that you need to do the recovery of your server so that you can now be able to continue with SSH, and that will be a very long process. So let me clear everything. So actually, let me run UF status again so that you understand. So if you allow that, you'll be able to see port 22 here. So I can also allow another port, which is, I don't know, our backend is running, I think, on port 8,800. Let me see. So I think here I have my backend. Yeah, it's running on port 8,800. So allow that. Yeah, and then let's clear this. So we are just configuring our server. So I think let me make sure that it's big like that. So another thing now, after we have done that, we need to remove this part there. If we have anything like this folder here and this folder here, because we now need to start configuring our Nginx. But I don't want you to bombard you with a lot of information because this is the first video. So in the other video, we are going to continue with the configuration of our Nginx right here and be able to start now making sure that we are going to make sure that now that we are going to install everything that we need. And now if you want to see the other video, just kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel and also turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified the next time I upload the next video, so that also we can continue with this series and be able to understand the deployment of full stack application. Have a great day. See you on the next video. Hello and welcome back. So in today's video, we are going to continue configuring our server. And also, if you are able to go through the other video, you remember we did the first setup for our server, and our server is right here. Already we are SSH'd in our server, and we did some setup using this deployment documentation right here. So also we did the propagation, whereby we appointed our domain to our server, our DigitalOcean server. So now everything, our domain is pointing to our server. So the other thing that we need to do is to continue installing some other tools in our server. We are going to install Git so that we can clone the code from our GitHub. Also, I'm going to install Node.js so that we can be able to run the code in our server. So right here, I have this documentation, and already we were able to get into this other place where we have the configuration for our Nginx. So we are going to continue from here, right here. But before we go to the configuration, I want to install two things, and that is Git. I'm going to install Git, and also I'm going to install Node.js. So let's go to our server right here, and already I have a command to install Node.js. You can see here, this is the Node.js that I want to install using this command. And this is because here I can be able to actually specify the version that I want to install in the server. So I'm going to copy this. Let me copy that. And if I come here, I'm going to just clear. And here I can paste this. And here I can specify which version that I want to install. For example, I can say maybe 20 or 22 maybe. and then here I can be able to enter. I'm using version 22 because it's almost the latest version for Node.js. So you can see here it is installing, but it's installing in our server because right in our server we don't have this Node.js. So then after that we are going to, after it has installed, then we are going to run this command here, this the other command here, right here. So I'm going to copy this also, so that when it runs this command and everything is okay, then we can run now the other also command, so that the installation for Node.js will be complete. So here I think also we are going to continue here, and you can see here this is just Nginx configuration, and that's why you can see we need to first of all remove any default Nginx configuration file, because they are located in /etc/nginx and then /site available, and also for this one is /etc/nginx and then /sites enabled. So this, and they have a file inside that is called default. So we are going to create our Nginx file, and our Nginx file will be /etc/nginx and then /sites available. But here we are not going to call our application Netflix. This is because this deployment was for application that is called Netflix. So in our case, we can call it maybe something like e-commerce, and we are going to have now like this file, and then this file we are going to paste this code here. This is like configuration. This is to tell Nginx to act as a reverse proxy, and when traffic hit the port 80, then it will be able to go to this file here, or folder that is var www, and then we are going to specify the folder where we are going to store our code. And then after that, we are going to link that file with another file that is inside /etc/nginx/sites available, and we are going to use the same name e-commerce right here. So I think I have explained enough right here. And then also right here, you can see we need also to do systemctl start nginx, so that our nginx can start, and it will serve as a reverse proxy. Also, you can see here, for example, we need to install Git here. We are going to do that after after I've done configuration for our server. And then here you can see we have to clone our repo, and then we can also do the API. We can also do the API here. You can see we can also specify the API also. We can do the API here. So you can see it's just reverse proxy, and then you can see we give it the port 8800. So I think let's do, because it will explain more when we are learning by doing. So here you can see we have installed Node.js, or not actually, we have done configuration to install Node.js. So now I can install Node.js pretty easy, and this will be good for us because we are going to be able to run our code in our server. So it's taking some time. So actually, I don't know, there is something that has happened, and you can see here it has we have been disconnected with our server. So what I'm going to do, let me clear everything and then log in again. So clear, I think it's like that. Then there's logging in again. Let's log in again, and I can enter my password. So here is my password, and then yeah, we are able to log in. So I'm going to clear, and after that I can paste now that command. I don't know why our server logged us out, and you can see already it has installed. So if I try and do node version, v, you can see we actually there's nothing like dash dash v, so maybe slash version. Yeah, you can see we are running on version 22.13. Another thing is npm. So let's try and do vpn npm, sorry, and slash slash version. You can see we are running on version 10.9.2. So I'm not going to just follow documentation like that. So I'm going to just copy this command here to install git, and then we are going to go back and start configuring our Nginx. So yeah, you can see it has installed. Also, everything is okay. So now what I need to decide where I want to store my code so that I can configure that to Nginx. So what I'm going to do here is that I can create a folder if it doesn't exist called var, and then ww, like that. So yeah, you can see it exists, but if it doesn't exist, you actually create that. So here you can see we have HTML, and here for the HTML, I'm going to remove this folder that is inside our var ww. So I'm going to delete this. So I have be able to delete that file. So here I want to clone my code now. So I'm going to use git clone, and this, you remember that we have already our code in our GitHub. So let me come up here, and I can come to the repos here. So I think it's this first repo right here, and I can copy this, and let me just come up here and I can paste that. Yeah, you can see now if I ls right here, you can see we have our code here. So I'm going to clear then again, and then I can go inside our code, and I just want you to see our code right here. So ls, so you can see we have these 4 parts here, and the same here. So what we don't have now is .env, of which we are going to create later on. So let's continue now. So we have our server right here. So let me try and see if there's anything that I can access in this server. So paste right here, like that. Yeah, there's nothing. You can see it's just Nginx. You can see not found because there's nothing to be served in this port here, port 80. So it's nothing. So let's continue. So what I'm going to do is that you can see here for Nginx, I can specify my front end, where my front end will sit. So, or where my front end will be able to, or where my front end code will be. So what I'm going to do is that I can come up here in my server, and then what I'm going to do is I want my code to be in a different place for my front end. So I'm going to, maybe let me just go back here in my server, and then I'm going to mkdir, that is to create another folder, and this folder I'm going to call it client, like client, to represent client side. So if you list everything here, you'll be able to see that we have this one beauty store, and we have client. So I want to copy the code from front end to client right here. So I'm going to go to beauty store, like that, and then in my front end here, what I want is that the code that will be in the client here, this will be the code after we have built our front end, and because we need to host the build part of this front end. So I'm going to do npm run build so that it build production ready code. So npm run build, here you can see bit not found, and this is because I have not done npm install. So I need to do npm install when everything, when the this the every package have been installed, and you can see here we are doing almost the same as how we do with our localhost or in our machine. So because we already have our Node.js, so what I'm going to do right here is now I can run npm run build so that we can actually create the production ready code, because this is how you do when you want to produce a production code in React. You need to do npm run build, and right here you can see it has built our code. So you can see here it has built this folder that is called dist. So if you list here, so you can see we have this dist here. This is a dist folder here. So what we can do is that I can copy everything and put it in var client, or in client folder. So I can do that, and then I can say dist. So I'm going to do that, and then here I can specify that to say everything. I want to copy everything from this list, and then I can specify where I want to copy. So this is just Linux command, and then here I want to copy to this location that is called client, like that, and then let me copy. Yeah, so now if I go back, I have copied the file from dist folder to client, so I can just go here and say, so I can just come up here, and actually I need to go back also. So like that. So here, if I go now to the client, navigate to the client and then list everything, yeah, you can see we have our everything right here. So what I can do now is that let me clear everything, and the other thing is let me go back. Now we can configure, so that I can be able to configure now the Nginx. So we were here now, so what I'm going to do is to remove this configuration for Nginx by default. So I'm going to paste that terminal command here. So I don't know why I cannot be able to paste that. So let me paste that again. Let me copy that. I think maybe my server has, oh, actually I can be able to paste. So yeah, I have removed that, and also I have removed this one here, like that. And now let's try and reloading this part here. Yeah, still there. So what I'm going to now do is to configure this. So here we have our documentation right here. So now we can come here and create uh, the configuration for us now. So I'm going to copy this command right here. So we have to come here to the server and paste this, but I want our file to be called e-commerce. So I'm going to do available and then e-commerce, like that. So now this is the file now that is for configuration for Nginx, and you can see it is /etc/index /nginx /sites available and then e-commerce right here. So what I need to do is to copy this right here, and then I can paste this inside here. And now I want to edit, because now my code for my front end, it is inside this here. It is in var and then client. This time this one is inside the client now. So I need to specify that, because I need to do that for configuration for Nginx, so that Nginx will be able to understand that it needs to listen on port 80, and the traffic that comes from port 8 here should be redirected to this part where we have var www, and then inside client it can be able to look for any file that that either it is index.html, index.htm, and then it will do the reverse proxy for us. So now then again I need to exit now here. So when I exit now, also I need to run another command. So here let me run another command, which is this one. So we are actually called our file here e-commerce, and then we have pasted this. So also we need to make sure that we have this. So let me, actually I don't know why it has run. I didn't want it to run this way. I wanted to change right here. So I'm going to remove this. So /etc /nginx, and then /sites available like that, and then netflix like that, no such directory. Okay, so let me just go back, and here I can specify it in e-commerce. So e-commerce like that, and again here I want also to change this. So I don't know what I'm doing right here. Don't know what's going. Okay, yeah, so here I need also to change it to e-commerce. Yeah, so this one is also an e-commerce, and then I can run this like that. So I have linked this file here to another file that is inside this sites enabled. So again, also I need to write your first message. I have already my code. So I need to start now my Nginx here. So let me start my Nginx, and then again after that, this any other thing that I need to do. I had already cloned my code right here. So I need to see if my code is running. So if I do that, I can see here that my code is not running. So what I'm going to do is that I can be able to use Nginx and then do -t here to, yeah, you can see here, actually I have not run the Nginx command. So I need to do Nginx and then -t here to be able to see if my Nginx configuration is okay. So if I do that, you can see that my Nginx actually failed because on line 61 right here. So I need also to open my Nginx, so configuration file. So I'm going to come up here, and I had run another command here to open the Nginx configuration file. So let me just go back and see where I ran that command. So I cannot be able to locate it. So what I'm going to do is to just come up here and run it and locate it. So sites available, and then e-commerce, like that. And then when I open here, and actually it's telling me that this is not, it has failed. So I don't know why it has failed. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy like the whole Nginx right here. Down here I have the whole part of Nginx. So here, but this one requires me to have at least a domain, and because already I have a domain, I can do that. So I think let me start, first of all, copy this again, this here like that, and then yeah, you can see here it's actually, so first configuration is right here. So I don't know why it's failing. So let me come up here, and I can just remove it again, and then I'm going to paste it again and change my location for my code. So if I come up here and let me paste like that, and then here I can just let me just come up here and I can change this to, because this is the front end that I want to run on port 80, then can come up here and change this, and then this will be let's say this one will be net, let me call it client, because this is where we have stored our front-end code, our built front-end code. And then here I can just save this and then enter and then exit. So I need to do Nginx -t again, and it actually failed. So actually, yeah, and this is because here it's searching for this file site enabled Netflix here. So I need to change to remove this. So I'm going to just say that remove and then rf here, and then I can copy this and remove that file. Yeah, it's telling me that it doesn't exist. So let me copy that and paste it here, and I can remove it like that then. So again, let me run now the configuration. Yeah, you can see now the this is the configuration test for Nginx, and you can see now it is telling me that syntax is okay, test is successful. So now let us try and run this. So if I try and run this, also there's nothing that is happening, and I think I don't know why it's not working. So what I can do is to reload this. So I'm just going to do system reload and then, or what I can do, let me run a command here so that we see. So this is just a debug command. So this one is site available. Okay, so let me run this command here. Okay, it is telling me that file exists. Okay, so then let me rerun again my Nginx. So systemctl reload Nginx like that. So Nginx right here. Yeah, I have reload again. So let's try and see if it will work. So yeah, you can see after reloading now, you can see now that it is actually running our command, is actually running our application. So this is our application, our front-end application here, and we can continue with the other part. So the other part is the here, the backend side here. And for now, I'm just going to copy this right here. You can see we have this part this is for backend now. So let me go back to where I was now. So I'm going to clear, and then I'm going to do nano. Let me just open. I had that command somewhere here. Yeah, this one. So I need to open everything, and here inside I can be able to, let me just come down here, and I can paste now another command. So I think this one should be here, and I can paste this, yeah, like that. And then I'm going to add another, let me open another thing here. I need to add these curly brace down here. But here I need to also specify my IP address for my server. So here I'm going to copy this IP address for my server, and I'm going to change that here. So let me come up here, and I can be able to I'm going to change this here like that, and then paste like that. Our backend is running on port 8800. Yes, so I think that's okay. Now let me save this and I can be able to exit. So I think that is it. Let me just exit. So what happens is that, remember we linked two files here. So using this command means is that you are linking this file here to this file, because you can see they are in a different location. So this is site available, this is in site enabled, and there is a file called e-commerce. So when you edit this, the changes also will occur in the other file, because already you have linked. So now let me test again and see if that configuration for Nginx is okay. So Nginx, yeah, you can see this one has failed, and I guess I know why it has failed. And let me just open it again. Let me open it like that, and I'm just going to come up here, so where I can remove the other part this other part. So I don't know why it's not working. So let me just exit for now. I don't know why it is unresponsive when I open this file. So I don't know why. I don't know. Actually I've seen that maybe it's here where I need to add a server. Let me just come up here, and yeah, I think that is okay. Yeah, actually I think this is where the problem is coming, and I need to just remove this first of all. So I don't need to open like the full screen, and here I can also remove these extra curly braces here. So like that. I think I need to come up here and remove that. Yeah, so I think with this now I can save, and I can remove it, like I can exit, and then let me do in the next. Yeah, you can see now the status is okay. So now I have done the configuration for our backend. So but our backend, it cannot run like that. So what I can do is that, let me just come up, let me just go back to my backend. So here, clear everything, and then I'm going to go back to my backend. Actually it's in this folder where we have our code called beauty breeze. So beauty, yeah, like that, beauty store, sorry. And then I can ls, and I don't, oh okay, actually I'm using caps. So here you can see we have our backend. So there's our backend right here. Yeah, so our backend here like that, and then when I ls here, you'll find that here we don't have a file that is .env. But first of all I need to install the package, so I'm going to do npm install like that, because we have just cloned our code, and you can see we don't have node modules file that contains all the package. So you can see it has installed, but now if you try to do node index.html right here like that, you can see it is drawing error, and this is because it needs to have environment variables, and right now we don't have environment variables here. So what I can do is to create an env file, so like that, and then we need to get our envs from our file. So I'm going to go to where I have the code. So here, and then backend, I have my env here. So I'm going to open using notepad. Yeah, I need to copy everything here. So like that. So these are our envs. So your envs, because you don't push your env to GitHub, then it means that they will not be available in your server, that is. So I'm going to save this, and then I can also exit, and then let me try and run again this node here. So like that, and then I can try and run that command. Yeah, you can see server is running on port 8800, and now it's trying to is now trying to connect to the database. I don't know why it's taking time, but it should have connected to my database. So let me just go back and show you. So here you can see we have our MongoDB database right here and everything. So it should be connecting to my DB. I don't know why it's not. Yeah, you can see here it's giving me error. One common reason is that you're trying to access database from IP that isn't whitelisted. Make sure that your current IP address is whitelisted. So there's this part. So what I'm going to do, this I can do in the other video. So the next video now, we are going to continue and make sure that we can be able to run our database. So for now, we have done the Nginx configuration, and now we can be able to see our front end using our server IP address. And even now, you can copy this IP address because it's a public IP address and run it, and you'll find that in your computer also you'll be able to see this front end here. And you can see, because our backend is not running, that's why you can see we cannot be able to show banners and also our products here, because our backend is not running. And also here we cannot be able to see the banner. So we are going to do that in the other video. So for now, let's end our video right here, and I'll see you in the next one. See you. Hey, hello and welcome back. So in the other video, we made sure that we have configured our Nginx correctly. You can see now we can be able to load our front end here, but you can see even if we are loading front end here, we cannot be able to see something like banner here and many other things. And that's first of all because we had encountered an error in the previous video whereby we could not be able to connect to our database. So from now, I want to start by trying to connect to my database or running my backend so that it can also connect to the database. And then after that, we are going to continue with the rest of the steps. So you can see also here, I'm running this application in incognito here. And this is because on my normal browser here, you can see I have my normal browser here. If I come and copy this IP address and try to at least run it again here. So let me copy my IP address there and try to load here. You can see that it's not loading, and I think this is because of cache issues. So you need to clear caches if you, for example, come across this problem. But for me, because I don't want to clear my cache, I'm opening it using incognito. So that's all. Let's get into the video. So right here, I'm going to close that tab, and already here you can see we have our server here running. And then the other thing is we have our domain here. So already propagation we had done our propagation. So for example, if I come up here and go to manage name servers, and if you come here and open the name servers, you'll be able to see that name server are pointing to DigitalOcean. So there's one more step that you are going to do, and that is adding here on our droplet here. We are going to need to open domain here. So I'm going to add the domains here, and we are going to do that with you so that you understand. So here you can be able to see that already we we actually added name servers for DigitalOcean here to do propagation, and I'm very sure by now the propagation have already taken place. So we had the other step, which was to see if our backend is running. So here I'm going to do node and then index dot node index.js to see if our backend will run. And now after I do that here, you can see now our server is running and database has been connected successfully. This is the same with what we were doing locally when we were building this project. So if I come here, so event like last video, we had a problem where database was not connecting, and that was because I had limited the number of the location where you can be able to connect to this database. But I actually worked that, and you can see here, I added this part here. You can see this part. This IP, this is to say that your server or your database can be accessed from anywhere. So in the other videos, I had only these two location allowed here, or these two IP address allowed to access this database. So that's all now what I really wanted to show you. So another thing is now we can be able to connect now to our database, which we have been able to connect so successfully. So I'm going to stop this Node.js application from running. So another thing that I want now is to install PM2. So I'm going to come here to my documentation. So this is ChatGPT here. My documentation is right here. So already we have done all these steps here. So the other thing that I want to do is to install PM2. So this is our PM2, and our PM2 will be able to run our backend without us doing anything, and it will run that backend application, and also it will be able to restart even if we don't have even if our backend stops. So I'm going to copy this, or even before that, we can just search here PM2. What is PM2? And you'll be able to have a clear explanation what is PM2 if my explanation is not enough. So I'm going to do what is npm2 here, and you can see PM2 can refer to parallel multi-threading machine, process manager 2, or a type of particular matter. But this is, I don't think this is the clear explanation. So let me just come here. So PM2, you can see actually the usage here. So this is what I'm referring to. So PM2 runtime is a production process manager for Node.js application with a built-in load balancer. It allows you to keep applications alive forever, to reload them without downtime, and facilitate common DevOps tasks. PM2 is constantly assailed by more than 18,000 tests. So this is for helping us to run our backend like forever. And if there is any problem that will happen and our Node.js application is about to go down, then it will restart, or it will keep the Node.js backend running. So it's just like something that help us to run our backend forever. So yeah, so that is the explanation. So I'm going to copy this command here, and I'm going to come up to this point here, and I can install. I'm going to install npm in my server right here, because I want to run my backend here using PM2. So it's still running. So here you can see how you can be able to run PM2 instance. So what you are going to do is to run PM2 start, and then dash dash name. That is the name of your instance. So for example, our instance, because it's our backend, I can call it API, and then it will run index.js right here. So you can see how easy it is. And then to make sure that it starts when when you restart your computer, you can do pm2 startup ubuntu right there, and you'll have something that will run your machine even if some things fails. So let me just come up here and see if it has installed. So yeah, you can see here this has been installed. You can see, and also you can see here npm and then install globally pm2. So it's running everywhere. So if I come up here and do something like pm2, and then I'm going to just add here pm2, and then I can say status. So if I do that, you can see there's nothing that's running. So we don't have any instance that is running. So, but for now, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to create an instance right now. I'm just going to do npm startup ubuntu here like that. Let me come up here, and then to make sure that it will run even if everything fails. So you can see I have enabled that. And now the other thing that I need to do here is to make sure that I can run my backend using this command here. So I can copy this, and my instance for my backend, I'm going to call it API. So you can see npm2 start and then dash dash name API here, then index.js. So if I do that now, you can see we have an API here, it's running, and this is our instance. And to show you that it's running, you can see that it's on right here. So that means that our backend is running successfully. So because you can see we have run this index.js. If we had our frontend also that we want to run using npm, there is a way. So you can go and research more about npm here. That will save your life and save your sleep when maybe something might break and your application will still run. So also you can do other things like stopping. So I can do npm2, and then I can say stop, and I think I can stop using the name of that instance. So if I do that, you can see I have stopped, and also I can delete an instance. So to delete an instance, I'm going to do npm2 and then delete, and then I can delete using id. For this case here, the id is 0 right here. So I'm going to delete like that. So you can see I have deleted. Now we don't have any instance that is running. So if I come up here again and run status, you can see there's nothing that's running right here. So yeah, the other thing that is left, already we have gone through I think everything right here. So I don't think there's anything that we have not done. So make sure that you created your A records. Yeah, may change your path name from router, change your environment. Okay, so the other thing that I want to do is to make sure that we are using domain. So you can see here now we are going to try and use domains. So but before that, we need to add domains right here in our drop rates, and let's do that. So I'm going to add domain here. So remember we have our domain here. This is our domain. This is duboisbeauty.co.ke. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to also make sure that I am adding my domain here. So I can just add it here. So that is it. I think also I need to see if this is the application or the droplet that I wanted to have this domain. So let me just go back, for example, and make sure that this is the one that I have chose. Yeah, so this is the one that I have chose because the other one has its own domain. So I have this first project here. and you can see it has its own domain if you check right here. So if I come up here now, I can add domain or domains. So I'm going to add domain here. So, and you can see we have this one here. So I'm going to add it like that. It was added, and yeah, you can see we have our domains have been added right here. You can see these are different records. So the most important record here is this A record here. So if you choose any provider for your server or wherever you're going to create your server, you find that you will have this part where you need to add domain if you have bought your domain from another provider, and you can go through their tutorials or documentation to be able to know how you do that. So another thing that we need to do right here is we are going to need to add subdomains, because remember we are going to have subdomains, for example, for admin, and also we are going to have other also we are going to have also others for example for an API. So to do that, you can add one by one. So for example, API, and then here you are going to choose the custom like that, and then add it like that. You can see here it is we have subdomains, for example, api.duboisbeauty.co.ke. Also you adding www here, you choose the resource here, and like that. Also for admin, so these all are subdomains, and you can have as many domains as possible. And here, and then add another record here. So you can see we have these subdomains that we want to add. But what you can do is that if you want to have so many domains, also you can add asterisk. So that means that you want to have any this means any subdomains, and you want to you won't need to add subdomain one by one. You only need to add asterisk, because asterisk means that it represent all, and that means that you can add any subdomains that you want in future. So I can add that too, like that. And if you do that, you can see this is asterisk and then dot duboisbeauty.co.ke. That means any subdomain. So that's all. In that case, I think now we can continue. Now we have our domain here that is pointing to DigitalOcean, and then this name servers here, you can see these are the same subdomains here. So this one means that we are pointing our domain to name servers for DigitalOcean, and after that now DigitalOcean is also pointing our domain to this specific server or this specific IP address here. So that's all now in that part. So the other part now is to make sure that our Nginx can be able to accept our domain. We are going to add configuration so that our Nginx now can be able to accept our domains here. So let's do that. So you can see how clear it is here. So let's first of all go through this after we have done this Nginx configuration here, that we have to be able to understand what we are going to do. So for example here, you can see that first thing first, we are going to have our server reasoning on port 80, and then any connection that will come along port 80, it will be directed to it will it will be directed to this domain here. So we are going to change this domain here to be our domain, which is duboisbeauty.co.ke. After that, then it will go and check in this location while www in our case is not Netflix here, it's just client, and then it will load our website or our web application. So also here it will also reason for anything that comes to port 80, and then it also will be direct here to api dot in our case it will be dubois.co.ke, and then it will just serve as a reverse proxy to be able to access this API here or our backend. Also the same for our admin dashboard. We are going to have this part here, and in this case this will be our admin panel or admin dashboard. So it will also reason to port 80, and then it will serve with admin dot in this case it will be dubois.co.ke, and then it will reason for that we are going to serve it with code that will be in this or in this /var/ww/admin. So here that means I should have let me just go back here, and I need to create another folder for admin. So let me go back here, and I can do mkdir add and then do admin like that. And yeah, you can see. So if I do ls, now we have also for admin. So let me also go back to my this part here, and I can be able to check here, and let me go to beauty. Let me go to the admin. So we have admin. So admin, this should be capital A, admin, and then inside here I need to ls. So here I can be able to run build, so that we can be able to build our admin here. So it's building. I think it should not take a lot of time. So actually you can see here it's as if we don't have, it's not running. So yeah, let me just come up here and try run it here. Let me see why it's not running. Yeah, you can see we don't have it. So first thing first you need to do is to do npm install, and it will install all packages because remember we don't have node modules here where we store our packages, since it is in incognito. It's also in git ignore, sorry. So it's actually installing the packages that you are going to need right here, and now we can run npm run build, and it should run and build this because remember, when we want to run a production version of the React, we need to do npm run build. So we did with our frontend, and now we need to do for our admin dashboard right here. So it's running here. You can see transformed. Yeah, you can see. You can see that now if I come here, you'll be able to see that we have this file called dist, and this is where the files for production version of admin has been kept. So what I can do is that I can do to copy, and then I'm going to copy everything that is inside dist, and then here I think I need to do that so that I can copy everything, and then I'm going to copy to var ww and then admin like that. So if I do that, you can see I have copied everything from dist, and then I have placed it in admin right here. So if I do let me go back to var ww and then admin, you'll be able to see that I have copied files to this folder here. So yeah, you can see we have done that. So we can be able to access now admin side. So let us first of all do the configuration now. So I'm going to copy this now, and we need to change our Nginx configuration. Let me make this larger screen. So I can check in my history where my Nginx configuration are. So I'm going to do history, This is to check all commands that I have run. So it should be grep. So let me just do here, and let me have the pipe. I don't know where the pipe is, so I think it's right here. No, okay, so history, let me just run history by itself here, and here you can be able to see that I can open this here. This is where our Nginx configuration file is located, so I'm going to copy that and I can paste it here, open my Nginx configuration right here, and I can be able to edit. So let me first of all delete everything here, because we are not going to need now anything here. We are going to just have our new configuration that has even the domains. So I'm going to remove everything as I'm doing here. So after that, now I'm going to copy now the new configuration. Yeah, you can see we have done that. I'm going to come up here, and here I can be able to copy this configuration, and I'm going to paste it here. So from here now, what I can do is I can be able to change some things. For example, in our case, our domain changes here. So this was just a sample. This was just a sample configuration file to guide us. So this will be our domain, which is DuBois Beauty, but this one will be .co.ke, not .com. If your domain is .com, then you'll do that there. Also here it will be DuBois Beauty. So yeah, so we have our DuBois Beauty, duboisbeauty.co.ke, and then you can do dubois.co.ke. Also here for our location, it should not be, this one should be not slash Netflix, it is client. So anything that will come to this server, that is, and at port 80, the Nginx here will act as reverse proxy, and then it will also, now it will use the domain here, and it will redirect this domain to this file here for client here, where we remember in this client here, this is where we have our front-end code, and then it will run that. So for the other part here now is this part where we need to change. For example, our subdomain here for our backend is remember this one should be api.duboisbeauty.co.ke. This should be .co.ke, like that. And then also down here, I need to change my IP address. So this one I'm going to change to my IP address. So where is my IP address here? So my IP address is this one. So where my backend is running, so I'm going to copy that, and then I can paste it here like that. So another thing is I'm going to come up here where I have my admin. So for my admin here, I'm going to have my domain also, Boys Beauty, and then this also is .co.ke, like that. And then here, yeah, you can see this will be admin, and then here my location for admin code is val www and then admin, like that. So we have edited our configuration file for our Nginx, and you can see right here that we have everything, like we have our admin here, we have our backend here, and we have our frontend. Remember, our frontend and our admin are consuming the same API right here. So that's all. And to save that, I'm going to do Control O like that, and then enter, and then I can be able to exit like that. So things that we need to do is, first of all, to test if our Nginx is it's okay. So I'm going also to make sure that this is not full screen. So I'm going to do Nginx dash T here to make sure that it's okay. Yeah, you can see all tests are successful. The other thing is to reload. So I'm going to see here the command to reload my Nginx. So I have let me see here. It should be, yeah, we have this status. Now I need to reload. So system ctl, and then I can do restart or reload like that. Now we need to reload our Nginx like that. So now, for example, let me try and access duboisbeauty.co.ke to see if it will load our, it will be able to load our frontend.co.ke like that. duboisbeauty.co.ke. So yeah, you can see that it's now loading our application right here. It's serving. And then the other thing that you'll notice is that, for example, here, for example, you can see it's giving us this warning here that your connection to this site is not secure. So you need to install SSL, and to be able, because if you check here, you can see we have this part here. Actually, it's not this part here. Actually, let me reload. So, but you can see this one, it's telling you that connection is secure. So we need to install, we are going to install certbot and then be able to install SSL here so that it will be secure. But one thing also I just need to show you is that we can just see if we can access our admin. So our admin is admin.duboisbeauty.co.ke like that. So if I do that, it should also serve as our admin dashboard. Yeah, you can see this is our admin dashboard right here. So you can see what we are doing. And then now the other thing is to install now SSL. So let's go back into this part where we have our, you can see here we have where we have our documentation. So now the other thing is to install this certbot that will help us to be able to, that will help us to install uh, our SSL certificate. So I'm going to come up here and I can paste this. So it will install certbot like that. I'm going to say yes. Yeah, and it will install our certbot. That is installed. And also another thing is, you can see here, make sure that Nginx full is load is available. So I'm going to run ufw status. So let me come up here, let me run also ufw status, and you can see Nginx full here is ruled here and it's allowed. So that's okay now. So the other thing that now I need to do is to install. I just want you to notice that if you want to install now, because I have a certbot, you can see certbot right here. So in this case, you need to run certbot and then Nginx here, and then you can specify the domain where you want to install SSL. But in my case, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to run certbot like that. And when you do that, it will have this part where you need to enter, or actually we need to add the email here that will be able to receive a notification when the when the SSL is about to expire, you will be able to run this here on your own and understand. So I'm going to do .gmail.com here, and then that is my email, and then here it will ask you, please read the terms. This and that encrypt. You must agree to register with Acme server. You are going to say yes. And another thing, would you be willing, once your first certificate is successfully installed, to share your email with the electronic frontier? You can say no. And then here you can see now the domains that you have in your Nginx, and you need to install the certificate. So I'm going to select like number one, which is duboisbeauty.co.ke, and then I can be able to enter, and you can see requesting a certificate for dubois.co.ke, like that. Yeah, and you can see it's deploying the, and now our dubois here. For example, if I check here and reload, you'll be able to see now our SSL has been installed. Yeah, you can see now we don't have that warning. Our connection is secure right there. So I'm going to continue with others also. Let me run certbot again, and you can see now we have the second one, which is our admin. Let me select my admin right there, and you can see the certificate also here is being installed. So after it has been installed, also we'll be able to see now, you can see it has been installed. And right here, I want you to notice when I reload, this warning will not have that warning again, because now we have installed our SSL certificate. And the other thing is we are going to also have to choose the API, which is number 3, I think. And then after that, now you can be able to, yeah, we are going to request a certificate for my API. And the last one now is number 4, which is our www.duboisbeauty.co.ke. So now I can be able also to install that certificate right here. So it's requesting a certificate for that also. And then yeah, now we have all our domain we have installed SSL certificate. So the last also thing that I want to do is to make sure that it will run by itself, and that is, or it will be able to install SSL by itself, and that is by running this command systemctl status certbot.timer. So I'm going to copy this, and I can paste it here like that. So yeah, so this will run, this will be able to run our certbot daily to make sure that our certificate have not expired. So yeah, that's all in this video. So in the other video, we are going to finish up everything, because also you can be able to see here that we don't have we are not displaying our products here. Yes, we have deployed, and you can see we have our domain here, and we are having this part here, but you can see we don't have banners, we don't have our products being displayed here. And this is because uh, in our code we have not changed our endpoint or our backend to be able to consume the new API which we have already added, or the API which already we have created using our domain. So we are going to change our backend, and our backend will be api.duboisbeauty.co.ke, and I'm going to show you that in the next video, and then we are going to complete the deployment of this full stack application. So have a great day. See you on the next video. Hello guys, and welcome back to this video. In this video, we are going to continue deploying our full stack application. So in other videos, we already deployed our frontend, as you can see here, and also we also deployed our admin dashboard here. And also we deployed our API, because if you come up here, so you can be able to see that we have subdomains for admin, we have a subdomain for our API or our backend, and also we have our front end, which has this domain right here, because that's not a subdomain for our front end, but for admin here is subdomain, for our API here is subdomain. So we are going to continue with others, and remember in the other videos, if you haven't gone through the other videos, kindly go back and watch, so that when you come to this video, we'll be in the same page. And you can see here for this one, we actually added this asterisk and then dot here the domain name. That means that we can add any subdomains that we want. That's why we have this asterisk right here. So we can have, like, for example, staff.duboisbeauty.co.k, that if we will in future be want to have a staff portal and many other things that you can do with your domain. So now if I come up here, you can be able to see that we cannot be able to load banners right here, and this is because we have not integrated with our backend. Another thing is, also you can see here, also we cannot be able to see, like, for example, the users right here, and this is because we have not integrated our API. And that's what we are going to do. Actually, we are going to make sure that our API is running, and from there I can be able to use now the URL, which is our api.duboisbeauty.co.ke, to be able to access our backend, and to test, for example, if our backend is running. And for example, I can come up here to see. So you can see right here our backend is running, and we can just run npm2 status here, as we talked in other videos, and said that pm2 here helps you to run your application forever. For example, it will be able to restart your application whenever your application has maybe panicked or there's any error and then you're not aware, then it will be able to restart your application. And it is for making sure that your application is running forever. And in this case, because our backend or our API here, we want it to run forever, that's why we have it run by PM2. You can also run more about PM2 in depth in the articles. Maybe I'll add that articles in this description of this video or resource part of this video. So here also I want to know if my API is working, so I can just come up here and grab this api.voicebeauty.co.ke, and then I can be able to add it right here like that. And you can see, yeah, our API is running. And this is because if you check here, you can see these messages here are coming from our backend. And if you can see here, for example, you can see not found, express router there, JS. You can see all these things, and this is because they are coming from our backend. So what we can do is that we need to update our code. So I'm going to just close that page, and I can come up here to my code, and you can see where we have request methods here. Now we are not going to use this here. We are not going to use localhost and then this 800 here. We are going to use now our domain for our backend. So that's what we are going to do, and that we are going to change this for our admin dashboard and also for our front end right here. So let's start with the front end. So I'm going to grab this api.voice.co.ke. Then I'm going to make sure that I add it right here. So I'm going to add it like that. You can see api.duboisbeauty.co.ke. Also, the other thing that I'm going to add here is HTTP s, because remember we installed the SSL. So everything that is going to be sent through this API here, like this one here, then it will be encrypted. So I'm going to copy this to make sure that it is still the backend API. So I'm going to copy that, and this is to make sure that the domain is correct. So I'm going to paste it here and run it like that. Yeah, you can see it's correct. So also what I'm going to do now, I don't want to type it. So again, I'm going to copy this, and here I'm going to actually make sure that I save, and then I can close this. Now that is our front end, and then also I'm going to come here to our admin dashboard, and right here you can see also we had this part here, and that's why you can see the importance of making sure that you centralize where your backend API is. So in our case here, you can see our base URL here, and other part here we could just call the instance for Axial here, so that we can make API requests, and you can see we are using base URL here. So you can see how easy it is. It's just changing only two parts, and I can close this, and then here I need to push this code. So I'm going to commit. So git add here, and then let me commit. So git commit -m, and then add. So let me just add here git commit -m, and then I can just add here, for example, added domain for our backend, something of the sort. I don't know if it will allow me to push the code to my GitHub. So let me see. So for example, when I add this, let me try, and yeah, you can see it is not allowing. And I think let me try and log into my GitHub right here. So let me see that if they can be able to log in. So I'm going to copy this. Yeah. So I don't know why it's not copying. So copy that, and then I'm going to paste that. Let me enter my GitHub email. So let me add it here like that at gmail.com. Yeah, like that. I think that's correct. And let me try and yeah, it is now logged in, I think so. So let me try and maybe now push my code. Yeah, you can see the code has been pushed. So added domain for backend, you can see it has been pushed. So what I can do right here now in my server, so let me make sure that this is a full screen. So here I can be able to go back. Let me go back to this part here. So like that, and then I want to pull the changes. So the changes that I have made are pushed to GitHub. Now I want to pull them. So if I do git pull here, you can see it is saying that already up to date. I don't know why it's saying up to date, and I feel like I have pushed. Let me check here. So let me see if I have pushed the code. So let me come up to my repositories. I can see that it's as if it has not been updated. So what I can do, because I don't want to waste time, I'll just update it in the direct here in my server. So let me go to front end like that, and then let me ls. I can see that we have a source folder and C. So src and then let me ls, and inside here you can be able to see that we have this request method, and this is where I want to edit. So I'm going to just open like that, and you can see here this is where we want to edit. So I can just let me just use I to be able to edit. So let me come up here, and I can be able to just remove this and paste. So I can be able to remove that like that, and I can come up here also and copy all of this URL for our backend like that. So copy that, and I can come up here again and paste this. Yeah, like that. You can see how easy it is. And now I can save this using Control O and then enter, and then I can exit. Also again, I can go back to my admin. So my admin, actually, I'm going to go back 2 steps backward, and then I can just go to my admin like that, and then of course it's source folder, it is source like that, and I'm going to run also this command right here again, and then I for editing, and then I can just come up here, and I need to just delete this one and replace now. So this one, let me add it. Let me add the quotation. I don't know why I'm not able to add, yeah, like that. And then I can paste now the backend URI or our backend right here. So I can be able to save Control O, then enter, then exit like that. And also I'm going to build now our admin. So let me just go back 1 step, and now because we have made changes, we need to build this again. So build, so run npm run build, and then it will be able to build now. So it's building right here, building for production. It won't take time. So you can see here that we have this issue here. Yeah, I know where the issue is coming from. You can see right here. So let me just go back to src, and I can be able to use this command here. It's a silly mistake that I did. So if I come up here, so if I, for example, make sure that I just make sure that this screen is small. So you can see here that we have double I right here. So I'm going to come up like that, and then I can remove that, and then I'm going to save again, enter, and exit. So let me go back again, and then I can be able to build. So let me come up here and build now. I can make this screen full screen here so that you can see how it's building, and you can see we are building inside the server. So it's building here. It won't take time because we are using Vite when we are developing this application. So it's you can literally see that it's building very fast. And also after this, we are going to build our front end. So let's give it some time. Yeah, it is as it is building, and you can see it has completed building that. So I'm going back to my front end. So where is my front end? Yeah, so let me see. Yeah, like that, front end, and then let me make sure that, okay, let me try build. If I have an extra I, just like admin, we are going to also make sure that we remove it. So here it's building. Yeah, for this one I have not added any. Actually I added, so here, so you can see the silly mistake that I did. Sorry for that. So I'm going to come up here and open that file where we need to edit. So like that, and then if I make this screen small, you can see we have double I here. So I'm going to remove one like that, and then you can be able to save that and enter and exit. And then I'm going to go back to this part here, and then I can be able to build this. Where is this command? Like that. Actually, there's oh, actually it's running down here. So I thought I had an issue again, but it's building. So here you can see it's building for production, and it's still running here, and you can see it has actually built successfully. So what I'm going to do is to make sure that I now delete this. I want to delete first of all the client where we have a code that is running in our front end. So rm, and let me make sure that this is a full screen so that you can be able to see. So I'm going to delete these two, admin and the client. If I do that, and then because in our client that's where our front end code is running from, if I reload here you cannot be able to see anything. You can see it has an error, and also for our admin here we are going to have an issue. So like that. So let me create other empty folders and then make sure that we have added that now the updated code that has our backend URI. So I'm going to add here client and admin, and remember these two folders here. This is where we specified the for our front end it should, in our Nginx we actually indicated that when we are loading our front end, it should load the code that is inside the client, and for admin, it should run the code that is inside this admin folder right here. So now I want to get into the front end here. So actually it is inside Beauty Breeze. So like that, yeah, and then front end. And I think from here I have a dist folder, so I can just do cpr like that, and then I can be able to do dist, and here I can specify everything, and I want to copy everything, and inside the client here I want to, this command means that I want to copy recursively or everything inside this dist folder here into this folder, which is var ww and inside the client. So I can copy like that, and now if I come back, let's come back here to our front end, and if we try and reload again, so I don't know why it's giving me, yeah, you can see now it's loading, and you can see actually because now it has our backend, uh, it has our backend URI. Now we can be able actually to load these banners here. If I load again, it should be loading random banners. So you can see if I load again, let me reload again. So I think yeah, it should be loading these different banners right here. So I'm going to reload again. Let me see this time. Yeah, you can see it's loading different, and this is coming from our database. So that means that our backend is working, and also we can do many other functionality that we were able to do in our local machine. So for example, adding to the cart, if you do that and then come up here, you can see it is still here, and also you can proceed to check out many other things. So for admin here, we have not done, we have not copied the code though, so that's why you can see still not working. So let's do that. So I'm going to go outside this folder and then get into the admin, like that. So yeah, so like that, and then inside here you can be able to use the same command, but this time I'm going to copy inside admin like that. And if I do that, I have copied all the files that we had here and copied to the admin. And remember, we are copying from this file or this folder here because this is the folder that contains the code that is generated after we have run npm run build or production ready code here. So it is stored inside the disk folder. So if I come now to the admin side and reload here, so you can be able to come here, for example, to users, and you can see users here from our database. So now we have actually made sure that everything is working and we have deployed our, our full stack application. So right now I expect that you can be able to uh, build your full stack application and be able to deploy them. So in other videos, we are going to explore other options for deploying. We are going to, in all those videos also, we are going to see how you can deploy using Docker and also other tools like Kadi, and maybe we are going to also include CI/CD pipeline. So that's all for this video. Now, thank you so much for coming this far. You can see now we have deployed our full stack application. We have deployed our front end. We have deployed our backend, and also for our admin here. So the other point that I want you to maybe do also is to make sure that your background services is running. So you can just come up here and you can be able to, you need to make sure that your background services is running. So if I ls here, for example, you can see we have our background services. So make sure that you have deployed background services, and you do this just the same way we did with our backend. So this is a simple task, and you are going to just use PM2 and be able to run these background services so that it can run forever. So other thing that you also need to do is to make sure that env for background services here have been set. So if you come here to the code, you can see we have .env. You can copy this and make sure that you can take that and make sure that you have added in the background services here and be able to run these background services. So for background services, another thing that I want to tell you is that it is not a must that you add domain, because it has no, you are not being required to access it using a domain. So what you can just do is to run it using PM2, and then it will do the rest, because it's just an application that is running after a specific time or period. And that is it. I think that's all for now. So I'm going to see you on other courses or other tutorials. Have a great day. See you on the next one.